How's it feel? I'm not even watching.
Get the green shell. Get the green shell.
Oh! How's it feel, Josh Boyd? It's a lot of games.
That's why you get the green shell. Get the green shell.
It is.
Yeah. You want that green shell? Already got it. Already got it.
Yeah, that is something
What happened? What happened? Oh. Someone gonna get the door. I can't stop right now. This game doesn't pause. And I gotta beat Caleb.
I hope that's
I don't care. Start.
This box says open me. Wait.
Yes, it says play me. That means that there's a game. What? That's not a game.
That's not food.
Just because they're called
These are not
doesn't mean they're
edible.
Push play. What if it's a ball?
It's not a bomb.
Brace yourself for terrible news. If you're hearing this, there's a very good chance you become trapped in a horror movie. I know you're confused and probably scared. Good. Take this seriously. Your lives depend on it. I've spent years dealing with ghosts, vampires, homicidal maniacs, and of course zombies. All without help. And here I am, alive. Because I took it seriously. Because I watched enough good people to make stupid mistakes and die for them. You're bound to lose two things in horror movies: friends and appendages.
My arm's going.
That's why I started recording these tips, to try and help. From this moment on, you're not a human being. You're a character that screenwriters and filmmakers will have their way with. They're going to do everything within their power to make sure you die, probably painfully. I'll teach you everything you need to know to survive, and the first lesson of this terrorverse is learning rule number 1. Thou shalt not be stupid.
Is this a joke, guys?
Must be.
You're probably in denial. That is always the first phase in everything, especially weight gain. You'll probably need convincing. Take a look at the people around you. Is there a nice guy jock? Probably semi-attractive and always tossing around a football. What about the misunderstood teen who nobody understands? Also, the popular mayor's daughter with her generic good looks and cookie-cutter personality. Of course, you'll have a nerd with you.
Oh, I just lost a life.
And the token fat guy. And there's probably some sex-crazed a-hole who won't leave the females alone. Last but not least, is there a minority? And does said minority have a girlfriend? Now that I have your attention, settle in and take notes. First thing is first. We have to determine what kind of horror movie you're in. There are many genres for horror movies, and the methods of discovering what kind of horror movie you're in are simple. This is a very important step because each genre requires a different set of survival skills. First off, you have your slashers, featuring blade-wielding psychopaths. Then there's evil places and things, haunted houses, killer dolls, and the like. Zombies are popular now, so keep a watch for the signs of the undead. There's also fangs and satanic. Think werewolves and vampires. The easiest trick to knowing what kind of horror movie you're in is to look at your surroundings. An isolated house. If you're alone, babysitting, it's a slasher. If you're surrounded by loved ones, it's a haunted house. And if the window appears to be boarded up, there's a couple hundred people outside waiting to eat your brains. Next, a cabin in the woods. If you find yourself in a cabin, chances are you're at a summer camp, which is awful even if you're not in a horror movie. This genre equals slasher. Lastly, and probably the hardest place to determine what kind of horror movie you're in, is if you're in the Midwest United States. Here, it could be anything from a slasher to a haunted house to freaky children hanging out in cornfields. The time for analysis is over. Recapping, you're in a horror movie, and I'm going to teach you how to survive. Now listen closely, because the time for action has come. I'm going to teach you the stop, drop, and roll of horror movie survival. The first step, take cover. The last thing you want to do in a horror movie is run around like an idiot. You need a place where you can take a rest, wipe the sweat off your face, and plan a strategy. Things to look for: a house. Not exactly the ideal fortress, but it's usually the closest option. Get inside, go upstairs, check all the closets, under the bed, and use whatever you can to barricade the doors and windows. Second is a water tower. Chances are this will be one of the tallest structures around. If you can handle the climb and the heights, you've landed yourself in a very defensible spot with excellent bird's eye view of what's going on below. Third, look for a church. The power of Christ won't stop all forms of evil, but they usually don't have a lot of exits to guard. Pews make excellent blockade material, and lead-lined stained glass windows can be tough to break. Now remember, you don't want to over-barricade yourself. Don't forget to leave a way out. These steps are only temporary unless vampires are chasing you, then just stay put until morning. The next step, recon. Now that you've had a moment to catch your breath, take a look around. Can you see your attacker? Is he standing still, or is he looking for a way in? Is there an empty car or a road nearby? This is the information you need to plan your escape route. If you can't see anything, they're probably right behind you. Just kidding. Or am I? Step 3, gather an arsenal. If you're in a house, look for baseball bats, kitchen knives, or really anything else children aren't allowed to play with indoors. If you're in a church, a heavy candlestick or collection plate make good weapons in a pinch. But you can't beat the pound-per-pound, skull-crushing pressure of a decorative brass cross. And if you're in the water tower, well, actually there aren't many options with the water tower. You should have thought of that before you crawled up there. Now for step 4, get a vehicle. Your only goal is to reach the nearest car or truck, get inside and blow town as fast as humanly possible. Once you've reached the car, don't bother breaking the window. It's always unlocked, and the keys can be found in the visor. When you try and start the engine, don't panic. It'll turn over again and again and again until your attacker reaches you and pounds on the window. Then it'll start like a charm, and you can get the hell out of there. Lastly, make your escape. This is the easiest part. Put the pedal to the metal and don't look back. Just put the car in D, point the compass to N, and get the F out of there. Before we run out of time, let's take stock at what you have. Weapons. And weapons equal power in horror movies. You also have knowledge. And when it comes to survival, knowledge is even more powerful than weapons. You have to pay attention to everything I'm going to tell you. If you want to survive, you'll have to do exactly what I teach you. Stick together. Never underestimate who or what you're dealing with. Now flip the tape over and learn how to